Scientific method. The scientific method is a series of steps that scientists use to guide them as they complete investigations. The scientific method includes the following steps: making an observation, asking a question, researching the topic, forming a hypothesis, planning and completing an experiment, recording and analyzing data, and drawing a conclusion. Not all investigations use all of the steps of the scientific method, and sometimes the steps can be completed in different orders. The first step in the scientific method requires scientists to use their 5 senses to make an observation. After an observation has been made, then a question about the natural world needs to be formed. The third step in the scientific method is to do research on the scientific question. Research is very important because it allows a scientist to learn more about the subject. By doing research, a scientist is learning from what other scientists have already discovered from their own investigations. Some resources a scientist might use in their research are books, encyclopedias, the internet, or reading a science journal. After a scientist has learned more about their scientific question, the next step in the scientific method is to make a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a testable statement that answers a question. The fifth step in the scientific method is to design and complete an experiment. A scientist designs an experiment by formulating a procedure to test the hypothesis. The procedure is the step-by-step description of how to complete an experiment. The procedure of an experiment needs to be specific and detailed so that it can be repeated multiple times. While an experiment is being completed, scientists collect data. Recording and analyzing data is the 6th step in the scientific method. At the end of the experiment, all the data is analyzed. The data is the evidence that is collected in an investigation. Sometimes the data will support the hypothesis, and sometimes it will not. The last step in the scientific method, the 7th step, is to draw a conclusion. A conclusion should determine whether or not the evidence supports the hypothesis.